it's Nina Carmichael, and we made these videos because you're probably the most ambitious person in your circle. But you know you're capable of more, and you need a push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, and learn how to set up your business for success. Enjoy! Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Set up yourself up to win.
Some businesses are just easier to build and to scale than others. Some businesses have a high growth market and some of them are slow growth. It doesn't mean that you can't win, but the opportunity is going to be much different. The upside is going to be much different depending on the market that you're going into. I love to say that a successful entrepreneur is one who combines what you love doing with where there's an opportunity. If you love doing it, but there's no opportunity, or it's really small, then you've got a hobby. It can be a really fulfilling hobby, but it's when you love doing it and there's a big opportunity, that's when you start to win. Now, if there's a big opportunity, you don't love doing it, you're not gonna win either. You can build an okay business if there's a big opportunity, but you don't like doing it, but only for so long, because then you're gonna quit. You're gonna hate your life because you're waking up every day and doing work that you don't like doing, and you're gonna quit. And this is where a lot of entrepreneurs struggle. They do one of those two things. They try to start a business just around their hobbies, what they're passionate about, but there's no market opportunity. They don't know how to tie it into real demand, so they never build a business, just a hobby on the weekends and evenings. Or they're just chasing the hot opportunity and they don't care about the business. And so either way, you're gonna lose in both those scenarios. You win by doing the work that you love that has a big opportunity upside to you as well. I wanna share 2 quick examples that happened to me in the past week that I think could be really relevant and valuable. One was that a dear friend of mine asked me, what social media platforms am I focusing on? And we're talking about Instagram because he wants to go more hardcore on Instagram, wanted to know what I was doing on Instagram. And I said, you know what, right now I'm not doing much on Instagram. You know, I'm not spending a lot of my effort, my time, my energy on Instagram. I love serving, I love helping, I love getting the message out there. I want to do it in a way that has the biggest potential for impact and reach in the projects I'm working on. So he said, well, where are you spending your effort and energy? Well, YouTube is still number 1. YouTube is number 1 because YouTube is still the best place to get your message across. It has been for the past couple years and it's only getting bigger. More people are going to YouTube for content, for education. It's only getting bigger. So YouTube is still number 1. But then after YouTube, where am I spending most of my time? Twitter and Discord. Discord, I think, is the best place to be for community. And Twitter, it's surprising how much Twitter has picked up. Twitter was one of the first social networks I was on. And I not left it, but kind of ignored it for years. And now it's back. It's back, baby. So I'm spending a lot of my time on Twitter and Discord and, of course, YouTube. And why? Well, because that's where people are. That's where the impact is. That's where you can get your message out. And so I don't care about the platform. I care about reaching people. So you could spend all day long working on Instagram, or you could have spent all day long still, if you were working on MySpace, creating your account. Does MySpace still exist? I don't even know. It's just not a big opportunity. And so, yeah, again, what do I care about? I care about helping entrepreneurs. I care about getting the message out there. So then it becomes using your head. Okay, where's the opportunity? YouTube, Discord, Twitter. P.S. If you want to join my Discord server, it's free. I'm there every day. evancarmichael.biz. Come check us out. The second quick example was I'm talking to a successful entrepreneur who wants to move from his big business that he's built, tens of millions of dollars in revenue, to starting a business to help other entrepreneurs get their companies going. And he's having a hard time getting this thing off the ground, and he's having a hard time monetizing it. And he's having a hard time getting people to pay him for things. And I said, well, the immediate opportunity, you know, if you have a long horizon, great. You'll eventually win because your brain will play out, you'll get better at the game, etc. But the best thing that you can do right now, if you want to monetize it, is coach people who are inside of your industry that you have domain expertise. Because what he's coming at doing is just helping people with personal development. He's coming in, helping them believe in themselves, helping them overcome their limiting beliefs, you know, helping them fix their mindset, get their schedule right, all that stuff. But then if they're off building their own business, he's only adding one little piece. Now imagine if you could add the tactical information and the contacts as well as the mindset and the motivation. So there's three entrepreneurs that I invested into recently: Drew, Jeremy, and Bo. And these three guys, some of them had no experience. I think Jeremy he was a stock boy at a grocery store, and he's mid 6 figures revenue 18 months later. Why? Well, because yes, I'm giving him the belief and the mindset and the motivation, but I can also give him contacts. I can also make introductions for him. I can also give him information about the industry to know what he's doing right and what he's doing wrong. And so when I'm looking to make an investment into an entrepreneur, I want to be able to help them beyond just believe, because I can give believe to anybody. But who would I want to give believe to that had the highest impact for success? It's going to be people who I can give contacts to. Jeremy does YouTube consulting. There's people who contact me all the time for YouTube consulting. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be in that business, so I can give it to Jeremy. Perfect. But if you were you were an arborist. Can you see the trees? I guess not. It's kind of blurry. If you're an arborist, I can help you believe in yourself. I can give you some business model ideas, but I can't make contacts or introductions for you. And so you have to be smart about the opportunities you take on. It has to be something that you deeply, deeply, deeply care about. And then inside that, find the opportunity. Because the market is moving, and the market hopefully is getting bigger. And if you're inside a growing market and you love what you're doing, that's a slam dunk. That's a home run for you. So what's the methodology now to help figure that out? Well, one, you have to start with, what do you naturally just love doing? What do you love doing? What can you wake up and what are you getting lost in? Where are you spending your time? What are you daydreaming about? Not about the result, not about the cars and the yachts and the whatever, right? Not that's a result. What do you get lost in the process of doing? What industry do you actually care about? Where are you spending your time? Where are you researching? What doesn't feel like work for you, right? So that's step one, is connecting to something that you're actually passionate about, not just trying to make money, right? Making money is important, but it's not step number one. Figure out that idea. Next is, okay, how do we turn that into a market opportunity? Where is the business actually growing that we can connect our talents and our passions to? So if you love sharing a message, like my first example, great. Now be strategic about the platform that you're going to pick. It used to be Instagram. Now it's YouTube, Twitter, and Discord. If you love coaching people and consulting and investing in people, great. Connect it to where you actually have domain expertise and can make introductions for people and take a piece of their business, as opposed to just charging for the hour or just helping people with mindset and not actually introductions and tactics, right? So you love the opportunity. It makes you come alive thinking about it, and there's actually something for you to grow, right? Logically, strategically, there's a way for you to make money doing it. When you can combine those two things, you have a much, 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 much higher degree of success.
Rule number 2, bring value.
I think most people are confused about money. Most people don't have a healthy relationship with money. There are the people who think that money is everything, that money is the only important thing in the world and you need to chase it down and it's your duty and responsibility and obligation. It's like, it's number one. The person walking into my house or my place of business, that's my next suit, that's my next payment, that's my next whatever. It's only focused on money. And there's other people who think money is the root of all evil and that money is a bad thing. Money is a tool. Money helps you get a lot of things done. Money helps you go places. Money helps you accomplish your mission. Money needs to be in your top 5. It's just not number 1. Money needs to be in your top 5. If money does not become important at some point to you, if it's not in your top 5 priorities, you'll never make money and you'll always be by yourself, struggling, trying to figure out how to make something work. But it's not number 1 either. If you put money above all else, you'll end up doing a lot of work that you hate and you never get good at it just because you're chasing opportunities. This is a big reason why so many entrepreneurs fail. You're just chasing the hottest thing for this year that you don't have a passion or interest in, and then you lose because the people who love that destroy you. When I first started doing this, helping entrepreneurs, I never thought I was going to make money. My first speaking gig, my first option to help people, was in Canada, in my hometown of Toronto, was at a YMCA. It was a free event. They had an entrepreneurship program, and they asked me to come and speak to their members. It was free. I wasn't getting paid to do it, just wanted to help out. I just sold my business, I wanted to give back. I was saying yes to everything. I actually didn't even know what I wanted to do next. And so I show up, and it's this big room full of chairs, and only 3 people show up to that first event. Only 3 people. And as soon as I walked in the room and I saw 3 people, my heart sank. I felt like I'm never gonna be able to make anything from this. If only 3 people show up to a free event, how am I ever gonna make money from it? I didn't know. But I gave my best to those 3 people. I know that I helped those 3 people and had an impact on their lives. We then went for coffee afterwards and continued the conversation. I know that I helped them and it filled my soul, and I had to find a way to keep doing it. I knew I had to find a way to keep doing it, even if I never made money. And so I did. I kept doing speaking gigs. I did my website. I did my YouTube channel. And slowly, it started to come in. As I figured out the second key important piece, which is figuring out how to bring value to other people. When you find something that you love doing and you combine it with how it brings value to other people, that's when you start making money. If it's something that you just love doing, but nobody else likes it, there's zero value to anybody else, you have a hobby. You have a hobby. If you're only chasing stuff that people like and need, but you don't like doing it, you're never gonna get great at it. You might make a little bit of money, but you're never gonna get great at it. You're never gonna be all time. You're never gonna build a huge business. And so it's that combination of doing work that you love doing and mix it with where there's an opportunity that people need. It's a problem that you are solving. Mix those things together. You have a super successful business. I profiled so many different entrepreneurs over the years. And the number one rule that comes up over and over and over and over and over again is you have to love the process. You have to love the work. You have to love what it is that you're doing. Because most people would quit when it gets too hard. The thing that allows you to keep going and keep trying and keep struggling and keep pushing forward, even in the face of all of this no and negativity and obstacles and things in your way. Why keep doing this thing? Because you love it. Because you love the process. You have to get addicted to loving the process and not just the results. The results are great. The results of winning, the results of making money, amazing, great. But you have to love the process. The people who win, they love the game. They love the process, they love the journey, they love the work, however you want to call it. And that's across athletics, entrepreneurship, science, innovation, everything. It's the most consistent rule that successful, high-achieving people have in common. And so then that's your job. 1, fix your relationship with money. Understand that money is not number 1. But it's not evil either. It's not number 100. Even if you're a charity, you need to learn how to make money. It's got to be in your top 5, but it's number 2, 3, 4, or 5, not number 1. And then part 2 is you have to figure out how can you combine the thing that you absolutely love doing in a way that brings value to other people in a big way. And when you figure out what that intersection looks like, now you're starting to make a lot of money and having an impact and changing the world. Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, the science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action for you to shift that habit forward. So I've designed a special free program to help you get more self-belief, where every day for 254 days, I will send you an email to an unlisted video that, if you watch it, will shift your confidence forward. The links to join for free are in the description below.
So I think an easy way to do it is actually to start documenting the process along the way.
Find whatever the smallest first step is, and then the smallest next step is, and continue to build those steps. And when you look back, you'll have realized that you made some pretty significant progress.
What you need to do is inoculate yourself against the judgment and learn to take action on your ideas, because the alternative is a life filled with regret.
Rule number 3, keep making progress.
The way to push past failure is to keep making progress. Part of the reasons why you stick on failure and feeling so bad about yourself and it's never going to work out, it's because there's nothing new that you're working on that's exciting, that you're building towards, that you feel like you're making progress on. Because when you're making progress and you're moving forward, you can't feel like a failure, and you don't have time to think about the failures that you've had. People ask me all the time, hey, what do you do when one of your videos fail? Like my videos fail all the time. My videos fail all the time. And can I learn from them? Yes. And can we look at the data and the analytics and show, hey, when this happened, your video tanked? Yes. And we do that and we learn from it. But I don't have time to sit there and look at all of just the failures and sit on it, because I've got more videos that I need to make. Another video is coming out tomorrow, and another video is coming out the next day, and another video is coming out the next day. And I don't know how many videos we put out every day across all of our channels, but it's a lot of content. And I'm so focused on the next thing that I'm less focused on the one that was. So learn from that. Awesome. Now move forward. And when you don't have anything that you're moving forward towards, that's when it starts to really hit hard. And so I think that's really important. I think we get too caught up on our first one and it being amazing and nobody liking it, and so we're gonna stop. And even for me, my first video, I forget how many months it was between my first video of all time and then my second video, but it was a while before I kept going, because the first video didn't do as well as I thought it would do. I wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be. I was way more nervous than I thought I was gonna be, and I got no comments, right? It's like my mom and my sister commented on my video, and I felt like a failure, so I stopped going. And the thing that saved me the most over however many years of making videos, a decade plus, has been you keep going, you keep making content, you keep creating, you put it in your calendar, and you keep doing something to build momentum towards a dream that you want. And so I think that's incredibly valuable. Whether you're going through a big failure or a mini failure, I think it helps. When I look at big failures in my life, right? So a video failing, that's a small failure, right? Like if this video doesn't go and blow up, it's a small failure. But big failures, the two biggest ones was one personal and one business. The business one was in my first company. I quit. I'm a business partner. I felt like a loser. I was not making money, right? I'm making $300 a month, having no results, no traction. I just feel like a total failure and nothing was working out. And I told my business partner that I quit. And the thing that got me through it was eventually just realizing, hey, somebody else has done this. I can model success. And I looked at Bill Gates and how he started Microsoft, and I learned from that and I built my company. But it was the progress, the moving forward, instead of being stuck on how everything sucks and I suck and I'm not getting results and I'm just failing. The thing that got me the energy to keep going was feeling like there's progress towards a new idea or a new strategy to help me accomplish my goals. My biggest personal failure was getting divorced over 10 years ago. And that was really rough. You know, it felt like a personal failure. I mean, it ended up being the best thing for both of us. But at the time, it felt like a huge failure. Even just saying that I, am divorced, it just felt like a giant failure, that I suck as a human, that I couldn't make this work. And that took a while to get through. And eventually the thing that helped me was I pulled up a dating app and I saw options. I was like, oh, you know what? Okay, maybe this could work or that could work. And it's like the idea of progress towards something instead of being stuck in the past is the thing that started to get me through to build some momentum. Understand that if you're living in failure right now, it's just the past. You're living in the past. You're frustrated with what happened and what you should have done differently and could have done differently, and you wish you said this or did that or acted a certain way. You're just constantly repeating the past. Where to get out of the past, to get out of the failure, now we need to think present and future. What are we working towards? What are we building towards? What are we creating and making? And as soon as you can shift from past to present or future, that starts to allow your brain to shift into forward momentum and progress instead of living in failure. So some of the steps that you can do that I think can help. 1, put activity into your calendar. So whatever you're working towards, if it didn't work out once, awesome, put it in your calendar to keep going. Today's a Tuesday as I'm filming this video. Tuesday is my video day. I'm making content on Tuesday. We're here and we're sitting in the parking lot. My wife Nina is running some errands, shipping out some Built to Serve books, I believe, right now here at the shipping center. And I'm making content because it's in my calendar. if I didn't have content day and it wasn't scheduled in, I wouldn't be making content. I'd be doing something else, or I might be thinking about all the past failures that I had in my content. But because this is scheduled in my calendar, I'm making progress and moving forward. So whatever you want to make progress and move forward towards, have chunks of time in your calendar dedicated to doing it. 2, have something that inspires you. It could be people, it could be remembering what impact you're trying to have, your big mission or your vision that you're trying to accomplish. One of the things that really helped me early in my career is I made a PowerPoint file of all the people who came to my events, my seminars, my speaking gigs, and the message that they had for me. They wrote to me, because I feel great the next day after an event, but then I would lose the vibe, I'd lose the momentum. It didn't feel like, who cares, it doesn't matter anymore. But I would watch this PowerPoint file where I put their quotes and how much of an impact I was having on them. And so it reminded me of why I do what I do and gave me more energy, momentum to keep moving forward. That becomes critical. Like, what inspires you to want to move forward? Maybe it's watching videos like this. Maybe it's looking at testimonials from the people who you've helped. Maybe it's remembering your big goal and dream of what you're trying to accomplish. But what inspires you to want to start building some momentum? And then 3, model success and find the people who are doing the thing or have done the thing that you're trying to do, and learn from them and study them. And what that does is it gives you hope and strategies. When you are studying people who've done the thing that you want to do, it gives you the hope that it's possible for you too, right? Because when you look at their story, they probably started with less than what you have right now. And in studying them, you can see, oh, if they could do it, maybe I can too. It's just that hope, because you don't see anybody in your family or friend circle doing what you want to do. And so it feels impossible. But when you're around the people who are doing it, even just by reading their book or watching their videos, it gives you the hope that it's possible. And then 2, it gives you the strategy of what you could be doing. So how do you go from where you are now to where you want to be? Well, if you're modeling success and you see what they did, it gives you hope, plus the strategy to actually go off and execute. So coming back to the theme of failure, what this video is all about, you're gonna have tons of failure. It's gonna happen. Like if you are not failing, it means you're not taking a big enough shot, right? If you're not failing, you're just doing things that you know how to do. Therefore, you're just in your comfort zone. Therefore, you just hate your life, right? If you have 0 failure happening in your life, then you're taking 0 chances and you're just doing what you know how to do, and you'll be bored and you won't like your life. So recognize that failure is part of the process. And as soon as we can move from past, I suck as a human, I made all these mistakes, to, okay, I'm moving forward, we're making progress, we got a big thing that we're chasing down. When you can move from failure to progress, it gives you the momentum, it gives you the hope, it gives you the energy, and ends up giving you a lot better results as well.
Rule number 4, play to win.
Most people are so afraid to lose that they don't even try. So when you have nothing, when you're at the bottom, you've got nothing to lose. And so it's very easy to go off and try. But as soon as there are stakes, as soon as you've won just a little bit, now you risk losing something. And this is where most people back down and play small for life. And so you need to decide. Are you playing life to win, or are you playing life afraid to lose? So I look at my YouTube channel as an example. When I started it, there was no risk. Nobody knew me. Nobody was watching my videos. I could go and fail, didn't make a difference. I could try a whole bunch of different things. Whenever the algorithm changed, I got pumped because the people who were ahead of me were complaining and would be romantic and would want it to go back to the way it was. And I'm like, hey, algorithm change, amazing, let's go. I'm gonna learn that new thing. But now I've gotten bigger. Right? Now, I think I have more views than anybody in the entrepreneur space on YouTube. And it's easy to now be protective. It's easy to say, well, I built this thing I don't want to lose. And I hate that. I need to destroy that. I want to be constantly losing, constantly testing, constantly risking. Now, not risking it all, not putting everything on the line just for one thing, but to be willing to test, to be willing to fail. As an example, I split up my channels. I split up my channels into 8 different channels. I got an advice from Matt Geelan. He's one of 5 people who I would put on my hand as people who I would listen to for YouTube advice, right? He was one of the 5. And another one of the 5 said, don't do it. So I got 5 people who I listen to about YouTube. One person says, split up your channel. One person says, don't do it. What do? I have to do it just to see, because I know what not splitting up my channel looks like. It's what I'm currently doing. But splitting up my channel, I won't know if it's going to work or not until I actually go off and do it. And so I did. And here's a newsflash. It's not working yet, right? My other channels, the most I think has 8,000 subscribers. I have 2 around 8,000 subscribers, and the others are smaller. And they're growing every day and they're gaining momentum every day. But overall, my subscriber growth is down. My views are down. My revenue is down. Everything is down. It's all down. Watch time is down. Everything is down. Is it a big failure? I don't know. Maybe. I'm going to give it more time and see. I'm going to give it more time and see. It's a risk, right? I went from making 3 videos a day on one channel to making 1 video a day across a couple channels. And then, once a week on some channels, and we have 8 different channels now. It's more headache, it's more management. Maybe ultimately it will work out. Or maybe in 6 months I'll come back and say, man, that was a giant failure. That sucked. But I won't know until I try. And that's where you need to risk it. That's where you need to try. You need to see, you need to test, you need to taste it. Because if I just take that mindset every time of saying, well, this is what's always worked, and so I need to protect this and stay true to this, and that's it, and I can never change. One, I'm gonna eventually hate my life. I'm gonna hate my business because you need to evolve, you need to change, you need to grow. What got you success is amazing, but if you then do that same thing over and over and over forever, you're gonna feel like you got yourself a job. Why did you leave your job to do this thing, to have creativity and freedom and fun, not to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, right? You have to evolve your business as you evolve as a human, or your business will start to flounder and suffer. And it happens to so many entrepreneurs. You see this growth, and then you see this plateau, this long plateau, and people start to get more and more bored with their business and with their life because they're not evolving their business as they evolve as humans, right? So if I did that with my YouTube channel, I would start to struggle and suffer, and you see it with a lot of YouTubers. Now maybe in 6 months I end up going back, right? Or maybe I never go back. But there's always going to be some new iteration, some new version, some new thing that I'm willing to risk, even though I've grown my channel. I'm among the biggest in the space. And so always having that mindset, I want to win. I want to win. I want to keep pushing. I want to just not play life trying not to lose. And so when, again, at the beginning, it's easy. But once you start building something up, and that's in your business, that's in your relationships, like your relationship will need to evolve too. What got you there is a good starting point, but you're going to evolve. And your spouse or your boyfriend, girlfriend, they're going to evolve too. And can you evolve together? I think the test of a relationship is how much can you evolve together? Because if you're growing and learning and improving yourself and your partner's just staying still, you're eventually going to grow apart. Or if your partner's going a different way, you're going to grow apart even faster. But you're going to grow. Nobody just wants to stay static forever. And so can you weave and grow together? That's the game. So you have to decide, are you playing to win or are you playing just not to lose? So how do you play to win? I'm gonna give you a 3-step process that I think can help. Step number 1 is use the fear of regret. Use regret. Regret is very powerful because if you look at people who are at the end of their life, in old age homes, who can't do it anymore, who can't chase their goals anymore, they're filled with regret. Like, I knew I had potential. I knew I could have done something, but I didn't because I was just too afraid. Use that power for yourself. You're afraid to do something. You're afraid to change. You're afraid to risk something. You're going to be 95. You're going to be on your deathbed soon. Like, imagine you're there right now and you never took the thing that you wanted to do. You never got an answer. You never chased it down because you were afraid. You're gonna hate your life. That's where most people are at. But the good news is you can come back to this year, right? You can step back into your body right now and say, I can do it. And so adopting the mindset that you would rather know and fail than not know. Not knowing equals regret forever. Knowing and failing, you can deal with it. You very rarely regret the things that you do. It's most often the things that you did not do, that you were afraid to do, the actions not taken that people regret. And so don't be like that. Whenever you're afraid of doing something, take that test. Use the regret test. Imagine yourself at 95 in a rocking chair in an old age home, and you never did the thing that you're thinking about right now. Would you regret that? And whatever you think that you would regret not doing, you have to summon the courage to do it right now. Step number 2 is understand that your setback primes your comeback. Your setbacks prime your comebacks. Nobody's on top always, right? It says drop and then you come back even higher. And so whatever you want to go off and do, right? Whatever change you want to go off and make, chances are, 1, it's not fatal. Like, you can always come back to something, right? If you want to take a year off after university to go be an entrepreneur instead of going to that job, right? If you're in a job that you hate and you say, you know what, I can always get another job, so I'm going to try for a year doing my own business. It's not fatal. You can always come back and do it. You can always come back and get that crappy job. You know you're capable of it. You know you're probably more than capable of it, of what you're doing right now. But the thing is, you're probably not going to go back to it, right? Like, you're leaving it for a reason. You don't go back to your ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend. You go back to that crappy boss. Because in that time, even though you may have failed a whole bunch of times, you've learned and you've grown. You're a stronger person because of it. So that setback primes you for your comeback, because now you're a stronger person. You're capable of more. And you'll find the next path. The path that you chose may not be the ultimate path for you, but you know that the path you left is not the path for you either. And so better than sticking on some path that you know that you don't love, it's better to go off and explore, to test, to taste, to try. Most people don't do that enough. And they're so worried about the failure. You're worried about this new path failing and not working out. You can tell yourself you can always go back to that thing. And you can, and the facts are you can. You can go back and do what you're doing before, but you probably won't. Even if the thing that you jump to doesn't work out, you're not going back to where you were, because you're stronger. You've grown. And that'll set you up for the comeback. That'll set you up for the next great thing in your life, because you won't find the great thing doing the thing that you hate doing. And step number 3 is say it's the best. I've trained myself that whenever something really negative is happening to me, I say, this is the best. This is the best. What was the best part of me going on my tour for 90 days, 23 cities? Breaking my neck. Broke my neck in 2 spots, had a concussion, 3 staples in my head. I still have, you can kind of see down there. How do I point? Right there. There. Got my 2 neck braces that I had to sleep in and be in basically all day long, except for a 10-minute shower. That was the best part of the tour. Not just positive attitude, like it's the best. It's actually the best. Because that negative situation that you're dealing with right now makes you stronger. It shows you what you're capable of. Thank you. Your purpose comes from your pain, ultimately, right? Like the thing that you want to do for the rest of your life comes from the most painful moment in your life. Whatever you struggled the most with is the thing that you want to help other people through. And so thank you for that crazy pain. Somebody who hasn't been through pain never accomplishes anything amazing. So thank you. This pain that I'm going through right now, amazing. Let's go. This is the best. If you could just change that mindset tweak, next time you find yourself complaining, angry, upset, frustrated, tell yourself, just try it. This is the best. This is the best. This is my chance to show myself and the world what I'm made of. This is my chance to grow. This is the best. And watch how quickly it puts you into a resourceful state. Instead of being hopeless and complaining and upset and frustrated, now you feel like things are possible. Now you feel hopeful. Now you're resourceful. And now you're way more likely to solve the problem instead of sitting there complaining about it. It's the best.
Rule number 5, the last one before our very special bonus clip, tell your story.
Your story is your competitive advantage. Why you do what you do, where you came from, your history, all of the baggage, the imperfections, the vulnerability, all of that, your story is the thing that's going to help you win as an entrepreneur. This is one of the biggest misconceptions and one of the hardest things for us to do as entrepreneurs, to put ourselves out there and share the story. We want to be perfect. We see these big brands. We see people popping off on Instagram and their perfect life and their perfect planes and their perfect marketing. And we feel not good enough and we feel like we have to be like them, but people can smell through it. Think about it. You're going up against some big company, right? Whatever industry you're in, there's some big players. More established than you, bigger budgets than you, deeper pockets than you. They've been there forever. They've got the brand name, the history, the reputation. People know who they are, and you're going up against them. Why would somebody buy from you instead of them? Because of your story. Because you're going to make me feel special. Because in you, I see myself. I see somebody who cares. I see somebody who's going to go off and make a difference where I have no connection to big company, to a big corporation. But what most entrepreneurs do is they try to look the part of being the big corporate. They have a really formal website. They have a really formal photography. They have a really formal bio. At best, you're going to be a junior version of that big company. I need to know why you do what you do. This is how you win. Your heart is your competitive advantage. Why do you care so much? And if you believe, like I believe, that your purpose comes from your pain,
that whatever you're doing right now, your deep purpose is to help other people who currently are who you used to be, then I need to know what pain you've come through. Because you might have the answers, you might have the solution, your product, your service, your coaching, your content, whatever, could actually be the solution. But until I know that you've come through the thing that I'm struggling with, I'm not going to listen to you, because I'm going to think, yeah, right, this person doesn't get it. This person doesn't understand me. This person doesn't care. Meanwhile, you do care. Meanwhile, it's the most important thing. Meanwhile, you care way more than anybody else cares. But until you actually share your story, nobody's going to listen. This is one of the hardest things for me to overcome when I started my business, because I always felt, well, nobody cares about my story. Like, who cares? It's not about me. I have no need to be in front of a camera. I'm introverted and shy by nature. I know you may not believe that in watching these videos, but I am. And I remember fighting with my agent, Steve, many times. Steve, nobody cares about what I've done and my story, and I don't like the spotlight on me, so why does it matter? And after years of fighting, and hopefully what took me forever to figure out, if you guys get this in this video, you'll be way further ahead than I was when I was getting started. People learn through your story. And if you've got a message, you telling your story actually perpetuates the message. So you telling your story is not about you and your ego and how you look and how people see you and prizes and awards and anything. It's about making an impact. Because when I know that you've been through what I'm going through, or I know how much you care about something, I'm much more likely to want to hire you. So let me give you a couple examples. I remember I was doing a radio show, and when I first got started in coaching, it was through a live radio show that I was doing once a week. I remember one person calling in, and he had a landscaping business. And I asked, okay, well, what's so different about your landscaping company? Because he was frustrated that all of these teenagers and high school kids were eating up his business, where they say, hey, we'll landscape your yard and we'll do it for minimum wage. And here he is trying to make more than minimum wage. And he's worried that he has to compete on price and he can't do it against these teenagers. And so I said, well, why do you care so much about landscaping, man? Like, why did you pick this business? And I hope for all of you, please, that you have a story, right? If you're picking a business just to make money, you've lost already. You've lost. That the entrepreneur success formula is you got to combine what you love doing with what brings value to other people. You have to love it. You have to have a story. If there's no story, you've lost. Go pick something else that you actually can't connect to. But I asked him, why did you start this business? What does it mean to you? And he said, my mom was my hero. And when I was young, she always took me out to the yard and we did landscaping together. And it's always a connection to her. And then there was a line that he said that really caught me, where he said, every lawn that I go to, every customer's lawn that I go help, I treat it like it's my mom's lawn. And right there, it's like, oh my gosh, this guy cares so much. Like, do you think the average high school, after school, summer job, do you think they care as much about your yard as this guy does, right? If he's treating it like it's his mom's garden. And by sharing that story now, you'd be willing to pay more. I'd be willing to pay him way more than a high school kid, because I think that he's going to give a way better service, provide way more value, because I understand the story. But if I just went to the website and I looked at his services and I go to some giant corporation who does it, or I go to see some teenager who does it, the websites are going to look pretty similar. The services are going to look pretty similar, but the heart and soul is the thing that's missing. That's why he's going to give the best value compared to the other extremes. Same thing for you. You love the thing that you're doing. I hope. If not, find something else. You love the thing that you're doing. I need to understand your passion. I need to see it. And you're afraid of not looking good on camera. You're afraid of not being articulate. That doesn't matter. I'm not hiring a landscaping company based off of how professional their video is. Often the more professional it is, the worse it is. Because when there's big lights and cameras and setups and everything else, you get a lot more nervous. It's like, oh my gosh, you got all these people watching me, I better deliver. And then you end up giving a really boring, fake, nervous, scared, anxiety version of your story that nobody's going to connect to. Take out your phone and press record.
I don't care if there's background music or lower thirds or the perfect lights or microphone if you're a landscaping company. Now, if you're a videographer, your stuff better be on fire. It better be on point because I'm hiring you to produce video. But if you're a landscaping company or something totally different, has nothing to do with video production, the most important thing is for you to be able to get your story out there, to be creative, to be authentic, to imagine that there's somebody here that you're talking to instead of just a camera, to get your message out there. That is why people will buy from you. That is why people will connect with you. That is why people will listen to you, because they feel like you deeply, 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 deeply care about this thing. And I know you do, but it's just not anywhere. I can't find it on your social. I can't find it on your YouTube. I can't find it on your website. I can't find it anywhere. Not the heart, because you're trying to be perfect and professional like big corporation. Your story is your competitive advantage. One of the things that really helped me was leaning into the fact that I'm shy and introverted and afraid to get in front of the camera and afraid to get on stage and no need to be famous. That's led to actually a lot of opportunities. The more I lean in on those things, the more things come to me. I remember doing a speech at Brendan Burchard's growth event, and I wasn't as myself. I was more professional. I was more just giving advice. It was great advice. People loved it. And then he invited me back to speak at his private mastermind. And now these groups are paying $30,000 to $50,000 to be in that room. So now there's a higher pressure, like the first one, the ticket was maybe $100. The ticket to this one is $30,000 to $50,000. Like, oh my gosh, extra pressure. And I just leaned in on it. I walked up on stage and I came after Dean Graziosi. So Dean spoke and then it was me. And Dean was using the Flipboard. It's like a paper beside you and you're flipping one page at a time. And I'd never used a Flipboard in any of my presentations. I've had PowerPoint in the past, or I normally just get up and talk, but I thought, okay, I'm gonna try to use the Flipboard. And I didn't know how to use it. I always felt like I was blocking somebody, so I'm hiding behind the Flipboard trying to write it, and it ended up being really funny. And Brendan took me aside after, and he said, that was the best. That was so much better than you did in Arizona at my first event. And Arizona was great, but you need to lean in on your goofiness. You need to lean in on your shyness. You need to lean in on the things that make you nervous. If you're nervous, say you're nervous. If you have anxiety, say you have anxiety. I'd led with something like that. It's like, I'm scared, I'm an introvert, I'm shy, and I've got my heart beating like crazy right now, standing up here in front of all you guys. That's how I led my speech, something like that. And so leaning in on that has helped me. It's a lot more real. Yeah, it's a lot more real. So you don't feel like you have to be fake. You can just lean in on the thing that makes your heart go crazy like this. Lean in on it. If you were to make a video to say, I want to tell you my story. If I go back to the landscaping company, I want to tell you why I do what I do. And normally I hate making videos, and this makes me really anxious and nervous, and I'm scared to do this, but landscaping is just so important. It's so important to me because, and then you tell the story with the mom, wouldn't you want to hire that person? Wouldn't you want to pay more for that person, right? So leaning in on your story, on the thing that you're worried that you're going to get judged for, is the way that you're going to win. Your story is your competitive advantage. Stop trying to be perfect. Stop trying to go up against these big corporations and feel like you have to be fancy like them, where all you're doing is being boring, being vanilla, and being a junior version of them. Your story is your competitive advantage. You need to start getting it out there. The thing that makes you go boom, 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 boom like that, that's what you have to share. And that's how you start to win.
When do you quit? You quit when you don't love it anymore. If you quit now, but you still love it, you will regret that decision the rest of your life. You'll constantly wonder, what if I just gave it one more day, one more week, one more month? You might have to slow down and do something else to survive, but you have to keep going if you still love it. So I look at my early days as a YouTube creator, and you can go back on my channel and see how awkward I was and nervous I was. And my first video, I'm sitting down in a suit and a tie, and I'm sweating, and I'm trying to memorize my lines, and it took me all day to make one video. Most of my lines were me reading, because
I couldn't memorize the entire script, and I was so afraid of not having it be perfect with my lines. And so I read most of it and had B-roll on top of it. But still, it took me a whole day just to get some of those lines out on camera, like take after take after take after take after take. And when I started, on paper, it looked like a stupid idea. I had no video background. I'm introverted. It doesn't come across now, but I'm introverted. I don't like being the center of attention. I don't go and talk to people and introduce myself. I don't like the camera being on me. I don't like being in a spotlight. It doesn't make me feel amazing about myself. I don't crave it. I'd much rather be at home by myself, with my wife. That's super comfortable for me. That's easy. So when I started, it was just an experiment. And even though I wasn't very good at it, I just loved it. I don't know, I liked it. I'm a visual learner, and I think people are built to serve, right? And I struggled so much as an entrepreneur that I wish there was more content for entrepreneurs that was visual and that modeled success. Bill Gates saved my company, not me talking to him or him investing in my business, just his story, how he started. I applied, and that started growing my company. And I wish there were more resources telling the stories of successful, famous entrepreneurs that you could learn from. One, just get inspired to say, wow, look what they can do. But two, also to get specific ideas to help you grow your business. And it didn't exist. And so I thought, I'm going to go make it, right? Typical entrepreneur. Nothing exists in the market, so I'm going to go off and create it myself. And so it made me do all these things that I was afraid of, that I wasn't good at, that I didn't have natural talent at. And it took me 5 years to get to my first 7,000 subscribers, right? Think about that journey. Now, I wasn't doing it every day. I wasn't as hardcore committed. I was experimenting and playing with it a bunch before actually taking it seriously. But I loved it. Even now, I love it. Like, as much as I'm afraid to get in front of the camera, or afraid to go and do a speech because I don't want to disappoint people, I still love it. I love it. I love serving. I love helping people. This is what I need to do. And so even though I wasn't seeing a lot of momentum or traction at the beginning, even though all this stuff on paper looked like it was against me and I should quit and I should go do something else, for whatever reason in my heart it told me I can't quit now. I have to keep going. And just through sheer perseverance and adjusting and developing the skill set and getting better and becoming more skilled, I slowly got better. And now here we are. My main channel has over 2 million subscribers and 300 million views, and it's only because I didn't quit on my dreams when everybody else would have quit. And I want the same thing for you. If you still love the thing that you're doing, it may not make sense right now. It may not be practical right now. You don't know how it's all going to work out. Awesome. You have to keep going or you're going to regret it. Just quick story. I remember meeting a friend of mine in Orlando a number of years ago, just as I was about to start taking off. So maybe 5 years ago or so in Orlando, and he was telling me that he's going to be the next Gary Vee, and that I'm going to go off and be the next big YouTuber, and let's go build this thing and like cheer each other on. And he posted something maybe 2 years ago on his Instagram saying, I met Evan in Orlando, and he showed, posted the picture of us having a, Starbucks in Orlando. And I told him I was going to be the next Gary Vee, and he was going to go off and be the next big YouTuber. And Evan went off and did it, and I didn't do my part. He just didn't have enough momentum. He just start and stopped, and he didn't do it. And he has a lot more natural talent, charisma, energy than I do. I think we both have an equal level of kind of care and love and wanting to serve and help, but he was way more gifted naturally than me. The only difference is I just kept going. I loved it, and I didn't want to quit on it. And now he regrets that he didn't take the action. Now he's off doing it. He's chasing his dreams down. He's back on the horse and creating more content and trying to be that next person. But he regrets not having hustled as much as I did over the 3-4 years between us meeting. And I don't want that for you. You've got a dream, energy, passion. You can give something great to the world. If you love it, you have to find a way to keep going. If you don't love it, quit immediately. Like, get out of that business if you hate it. If you love it and it just hasn't worked out yet, you have to keep going. Okay, so what's the 3-step process to know if you should quit and how to keep the momentum going on your dreams? Let's go. Step number 1 is make the big decisions in your life with your heart and the small ones with the head. Big decisions with the heart, small ones with the head. Here's the thing. Your head is designed to keep you safe. Your head only understands a world that currently exists. It's logical, it's practical, it's survival mode. It keeps you safe. It knows what already exists. The problem is your heart wants to create something new. Your heart is telling you to go off and do something that's never been done before. So the fact that you want to step outside what your parents have done and what your community does, what your family has done, is not safe, is not practical, is not logical. You want to create and burst something new. That's what entrepreneurs do. So often the big ideas that you have, your head and your heart they're not aligned, they're fighting. Your heart wants to do this thing, you love it, you know it's inside you, like I gotta make this thing, but your head's saying you can't do that. You don't have the schooling, education, resources, connections, money. You can't go off and do that. Go get the safe job, right? And so often the head wins out because we live in scarcity, but your heart knows that you're capable of more and you're frustrated with your life. You have to make the big decisions in your life with your heart. We're not making some list of pros and cons. That's your head thinking. Don't do that. Big decisions with your heart. And then you use your head to help you figure out the plan. It's like your heart tells your head, heart, we're doing this. Head, we're doing this. Okay? No options. Now help me figure out. You're the smart one. Help me figure out how to actually make it happen. Big decisions in life with your heart. Small ones with the head. Number 2 is understand that your purpose comes from your pain. This is a key theme in my new book, Built to Serve. Your purpose comes from your pain. Your purpose is to help other people who currently are what you used to be. Think about what you struggled with, what you suffered through. There are so many people who are currently struggling with the exact same thing. You represent hope to them. You can help them. You can guide them. You can save them. But you have to be out there creating. So if the idea that you have, the dream that you have is in service to the people who currently are who you used to be, and you're going to reach back and help them, you have to keep going. That's going to fill you up for life. I love helping entrepreneurs so much because I struggled so much as an entrepreneur in my first business when I felt worthless. I love modeling success and teaching you guys about all these famous entrepreneurs and what they've done because that's how I got out of the hole that I was in, right? Bill Gates saved my first company. His story did, right? So that's all I've done now for the past 20 years of trying to now give back and help out other entrepreneurs. And so if your purpose in your business and what you want to create is coming from that pain point that you went through and you want to help others not suffer as much, you have to keep going because that's going to fill you up for the rest of your life. And number 3 is ask yourself, what would you do if money wasn't a problem? A lot of times we quit because money's a problem. And that is a practical reality of being an entrepreneur. Money is often a problem. You haven't figured out yet how to make it a success. You haven't figured out with my YouTube channel at the beginning. I didn't know how to make it a success. I wasn't making any money. I wasn't getting any views, no comments, no subscribers, right? You haven't figured out the path yet. But if money wasn't the problem, what would you do? Would you still be doing the same thing? This is what often separates the people who just have the maniacal commitment to keep going and have the momentum and energy sustained to keep going, where most logical, sane people would quit and give up because they just love the thing that they're doing so much. If the reason you're doing it is just chasing opportunity, you're going to lose. You should quit. If you're just chasing opportunity because this year is the year of XYZ, right? Whatever product or service, if you're just chasing down an opportunity, then get out. Because you're going to go up against people who love what they're doing, right? If it's you who's just chasing opportunity, going up against somebody who loves the thing, you're going to lose. They're going to beat you every time. You might have this small, tiny window of success, and then you have to hop to the next thing, and hop to the next thing, and hop to the next thing, and never have any sustained success because you don't actually love the thing that you're doing. And you're going to come home and be frustrated and angry and upset and never really fulfilled. So the reason that you're chasing down the thing, money's important. It's just not number 1. It's got to be in your top 5. But if you had all the money in the world, what would you spend your time doing? And then make sure that whatever business you're in right now is just a smaller version of what you would be doing, because that's the dream that you want to work towards.
Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video because you are awesome.
If you want to learn how to break bad habits, check out the video next to me. I think you're gonna enjoy. Continue to believe. I will see you there.
The fastest way to change your habits is to change your environment. You ever notice how when you're in a different environment, maybe you go on vacation, maybe you go to an event or seminar, you start doing different things? You are still you,